on live streaming. Like, I don't care what nobody say. I'm up at 5 o'clock this morning. Come 5:30, I'm getting a text. And it ain't even a good morning, coach. Ain't none of that. She's like, hey, just letting you know who we had scheduled for Teach Me Tuesday can't go. I'm looking for somebody else at 5:30 in the morning. Jesus. Yes, that's my producer. Gardy, the youngest in charge, is in the building. Jennifer J is here. Coach Cherie is in the building looking all good. I don't know about your background light, though, babe. You're going to have to go off and put your blue light special on in the back because you're not. Oh, snap. Chris, did you see that? This one right here got the remote control going popping.
She did. I thought she was gonna sneak it on you and just put the remote, like just be like snap her finger. Just like
you get what I'm saying?
And just hit the button with the other.
Snap your fingers to the left. You can do it all by yourself. Let me see you do it. Hey. No, I love it, babe. I love it. Let's go around the room, guys. Grand Rising, everybody. Before we get all things going, we got people pulling up in the room. I'm excited. I see y'all pulling up. Y'all do me a favor, share the room out. Let's go ahead and start sharing this room out right now. We'll do it officially a little bit later on. But I want everybody to share out real quick on Clubhouse. Click that square at the bottom of your device. There's an arrow that goes through that square. If you click it, there's a drop down. Hit the Clubhouse, share on Clubhouse part, and then just share something. I'm putting in the chat, pull up. It's what is it? Teach Me Tuesday. So that's what I'm putting in the chat. If y'all do that for me, that would be super amazing. And we want to get as many people in the room as possible. So let's go around the room real quick. How was your evening, Chris? Come on, talk to us, bro. I think you first up in line. Let's get it.
Good morning. Great morning. Evening was good. Yeah. I did a podcast recording yesterday. I had Latanya Moore on. So yeah, I need to follow.
Did you have Latanya? Listen, Houston she's fire. Like, for those that don't know Latanya, she's a lawyer and she is freaking amazing in Houston and doing all the things. What'd y'all talk about, Chris?
Oh, we talked about all that trademarking and protecting your assets.
Ooh. Help me. Protecting your assets. I mean, he said that he drew it out, Jen.
Church, your Boaz, your
right. Trying to cuss on the slide. Just go on, say it. Yeah. I love it, Chris. Well, I'm glad you had a great evening. I'm glad you're not on the road this week. When you going back out on the road? I really don't want to know, but
end of the month.
End of the week.
End
of the month? Yeah. Whoa. We got Chris for a whole month. Y'all, did y'all hear that out loud? Please say that we're recording today. Jesus. I love it. Gardy, the youngest in charge, is in the building. Grand Rising, Gardy. How you feeling? You in the gym already, brother?
Yes, sir. You already know, in the gym, getting to it.
Getting to it.
So my evening was good. Everything is good on my end. So nothing out the ordinary to report. And that's all I got on my plate. Honestly, I'm good.
I love it. Gardy, listen, I checked out the replay. We were in Panama when you guys did y'all's Wednesday live last week. If you guys are not tapped into Gardy is a real estate investor. He specializes in wholesaling. And he actually had our son, Justin Brooks, up live, who also specializes in wholesaling, but he does it from a consulting standpoint. He has a team of people that they work with, realtors. I'm going to have him up soon just so that y'all can hear. If you're a real estate investor and you want to increase or build out your wholesaling arm, that's a part of the real estate game that it's very specialized. Not a lot of people like to do it, but when you're really good at it, it's an incredible way to generate revenue and do it in a very team-like environment. But yeah, man, that was a great interview, bro. Y'all listen, Gardy, let me say this so that you clear, bro. I'm gonna need you to match that energy every time you come up to the stage. Cherie was like, oh my God, Gardy is live. Huh. You was doing all
energy was on next level.
I do what I can from time to time.
Help me. He said, I do what I can. I do the best I can, coach. Listen, I love it. Jennifer J, the premier VA, is in the building. Are you on F today, lady? Talk to me.
I am. Can you guys hear me?
just loud and clear. We surely do
awesome.
hear you in that Shure
Okay.
microphone. Shout out to Shure.
For sure, Mike. Well, welcome to the morning show, everyone. And yes, that interview was fire. It's amazing how much Justin sounds like you, Glenn. I was like, wow.
That's funny.
That was
Right.
funny. But yes, I was like, look at Gardy coming through with the interview questions. He was interrupting him and everything. It was
Right.
amazing. So definitely go check him out. My evening was really good. I did speak to the youngest in charge and her roommates. It's like I can't talk to her without them being in the background. Me being the third mom in their little group and helping them. They said something really disturbing that I had to fix really quick, which was, well, yeah, I don't feel like I look good unless I have my eyelashes on. So I had to correct that. Then the roommate was like, I got roses. I said, he didn't give you roses because of your eyelashes. You are just naturally beautiful. You don't even need those eyelashes. And every time I hear about eyelashes, this is going to forever sit with me. When we went to Hallelujah with Corwin, Corwin said the eyelashes look like this. Like they got hot. I'm sorry, y'all, if y'all wear eyelashes. I'm sorry. But that's what I'm always gonna think about. And it's the big ones. He was talking about the big ones, not the natural looking ones. Those big extra ones. They look like hawks.
Right.
They look like caterpillars on your eyes.
Yes.
I am weak.
Yes.
I am weak. Why we got to do it? For those of y'all that don't know, so Jennifer's youngest daughter's in college. And so when she say the youngest in charge, she's talking about Lady Diamond, and she is doing all the things as a freshman in college. And so she had to, when she says she had to get that straight, what y'all don't know is she was about to catch a flight to Cleveland and go get down with the get down. But we're grateful that you were able to square that away on the phone, Jen. God is good. Because them friends don't want to see her coming.
I think no, they want me to come. They love me. I think I messed up too because I think they all coming for spring break. I'm like, wait, what happened? Wait, what?
To the house? They coming to a spring break?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
When spring break, Jen?
At the end of March.
Okay. I'm just checking. We will have been there and be back home by then. Okay.
Yeah, because we come
Right.
into the
I can't
edge
help
of
you. I
this
can't
site,
help you be done, mother. I'm sorry.
Listen.
That's all right. Taylor does very good. I said some of these things you need to talk to your sister about. Like,
Right.
I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna give you advice, but it's me things and it's sis things. You got two sisters. You talk to them about some of that stuff.
Hey, I don't need to look, because as parents, we can't unhear stuff. How about that? Like, I didn't need to know all of that.
Yes.
Jennifer came in wide open this morning, y'all. Did y'all peep that? Like, the energy is on some next level. I love it. Cherie, you're in the building. Guess what? Cherie, did you notice down
I see my friend is in the building.
Did you notice down in the...
I know. It's making me mad and jealous and sick to my stomach all at the same time, but I'm glad he's in the room.
You gotta
that are wondering. Because y'all like, what the heck just happened? Our tour guide from Panama, our dear friend Mike Kelly is in the room this morning. So welcome, Mike.
Welcome to Clubhouse, Mike. Y'all give Mike a big hand. He done got his profile pic all worked out. He just downloaded the app this morning. Mike is on.
He sure did. And Mike, make sure you look at all our faces because we're coming too. I applied for my passport yesterday, so we'll be there with them. So Mike, you better pay attention to our faces too.
Mike, do me a favor. Get very familiar with Clubhouse. Get very familiar with the mods that are on stage. Look, he in the chat already with the hands. Come on, Mike Kelly. That's my guy. He working it out. Just got on the app. How was your evening, Lady Cherie?
I had a good evening. Yeah, I'm trying to think what did we do. Yesterday was a chill evening. Yesterday had to do some running around. Had to go to the grocery store. Had to restock the house because I left nothing in here when we left. So did that. Had some running around to do. And got back in the house and pretty much had a chill evening. Yeah, it was good. I'm not going to go any further because I'll go on my bandwagon. So I will say this. I realized that yesterday and today I struggled getting up, but I realized why this morning, because I have no sunlight coming in my room in the morning because we have the blinds that block, the night blinds.
Y'all hear all the
the curtains
She
that
can't
are
get it
lined.
together.
Partially because it's cold outside, so it helps keep the cool out. But even I opened my blinds this morning when I got up, but the sun's not up like yet. And so I realized for the past 10 days, I was awoken with the sun. So my body was on its what is it, the circadian?
Listen, you said you wasn't going to go down this road.
My body was lined up perfectly the way it's supposed to.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Right.
Hey, listen, Gardy, you hear this one? You hear your auntie over here, boy?
Yeah, my body is having a struggle readjusting. So I got up a little late this morning, but
listen,
I'm here. So
it takes me 2 days and I'm back. But the good news is I'm back on a mission, y'all. We are packing all the things logistically. We broke the news to the in-laws.
Having conversations.
Yes, we're having the conversations.
We still have one left to have.
Yeah, this is the big one.
Yeah.
The grandbabies and the daughter and the son-in-law. So y'all pray for your boy. Because we're having Taco Tuesday. We're going to set it up, though, y'all. So we're going over for Taco Tuesday tonight. I'm just telling y'all now. And we're going to do the whole, this is where we went. This is what it looks like. We're going to show the pictures, the sun. I'm going to make sure they see the, hey, Mike, I'm going to make sure they see the international school, the French international school that we rode by K through 12. We're going to show them all the things. And then on the back end, before we leave, we're breaking the news. So y'all pray for
them.
Your boy.
Pray for them.
I'm so glad that they don't listen to the show because it'd be a problem. Oh my God. Let's reset real quick at 7:13, 13 minutes after 7:00. I'm Glenn P. Brooks Jr. This is Real Lessons in Life and Business as a Teach Me Tuesday. Chris, AKA DJ Mastermind, will be teaching today for Teach Me Tuesday. He's going to be talking about everything podcasting. If you are interested in launching, building, growing, monetizing a podcast, stick around in about 45 minutes. We're going to tee it up for him. And he's going to go live on Teach Me Tuesday. If you're in the room, do me a favor, chime in. What city are you tuning in from? If you're viewing us on KBCN TV, maybe you're viewing us on LinkedIn, maybe you're viewing us on, YouTube, whatever the platform is. Go ahead and chime in on that chat as well, because we definitely want to know where you're at. Barbara, the super producer, my right hand when it comes to everything morning show. Grand Rising. How was your evening, lady?
Good morning. Morning show. My evening was fabulous. Jen, I'll take your word this morning. The day was busy. We had our KBCN team meeting, which was amazing. We onboarded our new intern, and he's just about as tall as Trey. So that was shocking. But I think he's going to work out really well. Good fit for the team. And we had about a 5-hour meeting. So a lot of planning, a lot of implementing things, because, we do Wednesdays at one of the elementary schools here teaching podcasting and broadcasting to the 4th and 5th graders. So we've got a lot going on right now. It's fun.
I love it, Barbara. I absolutely am here for it. Barbara, let me say this. When you go in and you're teaching the podcasting to the 4th and 5th graders, y'all got to make sure that you don't let them jokers take over. You understand what I'm saying? I know y'all already know. Because look at Barbara's face.
They try.
They tried. I know they do.
We have one that wants to hog the mic. It's all about her.
Right.
So, but we're teaching them to be an anchor. We're teaching them script writing. We're teaching them camera operation and technology. So it's going to be a good process for them.
I love it, guys. It's 7:16. Let's go. Hey, Grand Rising, everybody. Let's run around the room and do a roll call. Super excited to have everybody along for the ride. Followed by the speaker section on Clubhouse. Mom has got the pole position. Ladies and gentlemen, my mother, biologically speaking, not my spiritual mother. We were on the phone the other day and she was reminiscing. And boy, When your mother takes you down the annals of time of 56 years, that's a lot of conversation. I love it. I'm here for all of it. Grand Rising, Mama Pat. James, the mad scientist, the other half of KBCN TV is in the building. Grand Rising, my friend. Tanika, what it do? Good to see you. William is in the building. Anisha, how are you? Hopefully you are keeping your patients safe in these clubhouse streets, in these dialysis streets. Yeah, she's a nurse, you guys, and she's incredibly gifted at what she does. Anisha, if you ever want to come to Panama, we have a job for you. I'm just saying. If it seems like I am leading the charge, I am. All the things. Uncle Ernie is in the building, guys. Uncle Ernie, listen, I was out on the golf course, sir, and you'd be proud to know I think I got in about 15,000 steps. Let's go. I burned more calories that day than any day that I was on vacation. And here's what I know. I'm moving to a place that I can play golf every day. Ooh. If I'm making you a little bit upset, don't be mad. Just get yourself together and come on, get on this train. I see you, Jen. Jen is rocking out right now. Tammy, Grand Rising, great morning. Good to have you in the building. YB, the number one connector, is in the building. YB, I'm so proud of the moves that you're making, man. I saw the latest speaking engagement. Super proud of you, bro. Super duper proud of you. Valencia is in the building. Shout out to the MMC Business Builder community. If you're a part of the MMC Business Builder community, the community we get to lead, put me in the chat. Y'all don't want to miss this coming Wednesday's Lunch and Learn. It's going to be fine. Put me in the chat if you are an alumni, if you are currently in the MMC. Put me in the chat. If you're a contributor, put me in the chat. My dude AJ is in the building. AJ flew up from Colombia, South America, just to meet a brother, just to meet little old me. Just to meet little old Sheree, just to meet this couple that he met on Clubhouse 2 years ago. And he's originally from the East St. Louis area. His mom lives in Texas. He's back and forth quite a bit, but he actually lives in Colombia, South America. And it was about an hour flight. He jumped on a plane and came up, stayed for the day. We did lunch, we did dinner, got to know him personally only on social media. Gary Vaynerchuk says it this way. He says social media is the gateway drug to real relationships. I know that's true. Latandra's in the building, Grand Rising. Super proud of you, Latandra. I saw you went live for the very first time yesterday, and she did it twice, y'all. Y'all give her a hand. She did it twice. She came back at the end of the day and was like, for all of y'all that joined me on my first live, I just want to say thank you. God bless you and good night. I was sitting up there saying to myself, well, how in the world, how in the world is she just going to pull a Russell Simmons on? She over there living her life like it's golden, Chris. It was crazy. Lynette, man, I miss you. Lynette, I got a Panama Jack and I was rocking it like that. My new profile on Facebook looks like you. I'm hiding underneath that brim. Come on, girl, let's get it. I'm taking my freedom. I miss you, Lynette. We got to jump on a call really soon. Super excited to see you. Mr. Fun is in the building. Grand Rising, sir. Good to have you in the building. Jill Hines is in the building. Amy is back. I love it. I love it, Amy. It's good to see. I see your consistency. Come on now, Mama. I see. She's pulling up. It's been a couple of days in a row. Let's get it. Chassie, it's good to see you. Grand Rising, great morning. And my guy, Panama Mike, he's got the Clubhouse party hat on. Let's give him a huge hand. We calling him Panama Mike. Not Panama Jack, Panama Mike. He is our tour guide. He hosts private tours. If you guys ever want to go to Panama, you got to tap in with this brother. Do me a favor. Go ahead. He's new to Clubhouse. Just downloaded the app this morning. And the crazy thing is that he's already figuring it out. Got his profile pic. Before too long, he's going to have his whole bio on Clubhouse written out. Mike, here's a hint. Just copy and paste what you put in your closed Facebook group for your tours. Like, just, who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? Who do you do it? Put it in your Clubhouse profile, bro, because people will be coming for you. I promise you. Sheree already done got people hitting her up directly, Jen, talking about your tour guide. What his name is. What who he be? I need to talk to that brother.
Him down there.
Him down there. Listen, ready to take you guys on tour. Cherie and I, we went out, I think it was 3 or 4 days. And then the last day we were there, he pulled up and we partied a little bit. Mike came out and hung out. He don't do this with regular clients, y'all. He came out and hung out with us for a few hours. And it was just amazing. He's an amazing human being. His wife is Panamanian. He's from California. Been living in Panama 12 years now. They've got beautiful children. It's a whole thing. And so, yeah, he's good people, y'all. Dr. Lori, it's good to have you in the room. Grand Rising, Dr. Lori. Tabby, it's good to have you there. And Daraush, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct. If I'm butchering your name, my friend, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Grand Rising, everybody. It's a Teach Me Tuesday. And I just want to encourage everybody that we are here. Super excited to have everybody along for the ride. While we're here, we're going to go ahead. I don't see, is Rocky not here yet, is she? Okay. I know she had a whole thing going on yesterday, only with my VIP clients. Mike, I ain't messing with you. Yeah, we on that status right there, y'all. We was living our life like it was all the way gold, and it was a whole situation. Let me say this real quick, and we're going to get to the topic of this week. We've been talking about UOU. It's part 1. Yesterday, we dealt with real lessons in life and business around self-actualization, actually taking ownership. Today, we're going to talk about not being in it alone. Yeah, we're going to get on the bandwagon today, y'all, because I'm going to promise you, a lot of people are struggling with this idea of rolling it out alone. Like they got a whole title to it, calling them solopreneurs. Well, let me tell you something. You would want to build a team out the gate. If that's you and you trying to do all the things, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be difficult if you are going it alone. So we're going to unpack that. But yeah, I'm excited. Before we go to the sponsor, I got a quick question for the room. As we kind of unpack this UOU, real quick, if anybody can chime in, what did yesterday's show and session do for you? Can y'all kind of think about the person who wasn't in the room? Can you unpack or just do a recap real quick from your perspective, 1 minute or less from everybody, maybe 1 or 2 words, 3 words, maybe a sentence, a quick paragraph on your takeaway from yesterday. John Schultz is in the building. Let's get him modded up. Come on, John. I know you about to jump on the plane. Talk to me, baby boy.
No, actually, I'm on the plane. The doors are closed. I just want to say good morning. Good morning, Joe. Yesterday, more than anything, it's about the brevity and the weight and the sobriety of being out, taking ownership of where you are, how you respond, how you lead, how you deal with other people. And the more that you understand the weight and the leadership of it all, the better that we will be as leaders, business owners, and people of influence. So I just want to share that yesterday was very impactful, and I'm glad to be a part of this room, and I solicit your prayers.
I love it, John.
Fly with angels, John.
Absolutely. Safe travels, bro. And I know you listening, man. Father, I just thank you for my brother. Pray that you would protect him and all the passengers on that flight, everybody in the air today, that there will be no incidents, that it will be a very smooth flight, and that the meeting that he's going out to Arizona to have, Lord God, that it would be super productive, that he would come away with something that he never anticipated, that you would blow his mind. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Have a safe flight, my friend. Have a safe flight. Anybody else, real quick takeaway from yesterday? We're going to get into the topic today. Come on, Cherie.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in. And for me, the biggest takeaway from yesterday was that when we operate in a place of blame, that we're giving away our power. When we're not taking ownership for our own actions, for things that happen to us, when we don't take ownership of our part of that, we're giving away our power to other people. So when you blame other people, when you always are pointing in the other direction, you're giving that power to that thing or that person instead of you taking your power back and taking control of you in the situation. And so we have to take ownership of us. And when you take ownership of you, you're regaining, you're taking back your power.
I love that. Real quick, anybody else, real quick, one quick takeaway from yesterday. We're going to start unpacking today and move forward. Jennifer J., come on.
Yes. I always say never let anyone steal your joy. And it was very, very, very relevant yesterday. And that just, everything we talked about yesterday also helped me talk to my daughter and her friends to let them understand that that's definitely letting something take your power. So it just lets me know that we're in alignment with everything that we are talking about and we are teaching.
I love it, Jen. Here's what I love about this room, y'all. The takeaways, the lessons learned apply for more than just business, y'all. This is everyday life. Anybody else, real quick, before we go to this morning's sponsor, talk to me. One quick takeaway from yesterday. Who's clipping it up? Who was that?
It's
Is that
me.
Barbara? Come on, Barbara.
Yeah. So yesterday we talked about victimization. So one thing I took away is saying that you're a CEO or a boss or however you want to phrase it, and victimization cannot abide in the same space. So you can't be a victim or claim victimization of something, and then you're trying to empower or enhance someone else's life. That just doesn't work together.
Ooh, it's kind of like oil and water. They don't go together. No, I get it. I get it. For those of you guys that are just pulling up, Grand Rising, super excited to have everybody along for the ride. This week's sponsor on Real Lessons in Life and Business is none other than Social with Rocky. She is the owner and operator of a full-service marketing agency that helps you to free up your time in business by managing your social media accounts so that you can worry about more areas in your business. Relax while Rocky and her team helps you to grow your brand, engage your community, and help you to increase your leads and your sales. She is known for growing followers by hundreds of followers a week and exploding views in Instagram Reels. Contact her today. The link is at the top of the room. If you are interested, she's got all kinds of courses and things that you can learn how to leverage social media to your advantage. I love it. Today is going to be an amazing day. So today I want to get into the lesson for today, and we're going to kind of unpack this for the next 30 minutes, and then Teach Me Tuesday is coming up with Chris at about 8 o'clock this morning, guys. But today I want to kind of talk to you guys, and we're going to go in a little bit different direction. When it comes to UOU, so I started reading this book by Eric Thomas. Actually, when I went to Panama, I've had the book for a minute. And I started reading the book. One of the things that it talks about is that you are never in it by yourself. I want to read this for a second, and this will be a little bit of a recap. Some of this you may have heard yesterday, but I want y'all to hear from a different perspective. Aloneness is a part of the victim mentality. This is the mindset of someone to whom things are happening. When you act like a victim, you close yourself off to communication and relationships. You pit yourself against the world. You dig yourself into a dark hole where no one can see you or touch you. You close yourself off to potential solutions. But in reality, you are never in it by yourself. The perception that it's you against the world is a construct. I'm going to say that again. The perception that it's you against the world is a construct. I'm going to stop right there. There are players in the NBA and the NFL that you guys will hear, they quote, play with a chip on their shoulder. When you think about Tom Brady, Super Bowl champion, arguably the best to do it, 7 championships, just retired. He was picked almost dead last in the draft when he went. And for the entire time that he played at Michigan, when he played, I'm sorry, was it Michigan? I can't remember. I know he's from California, but I think he played at Michigan. I'm almost positive. But he was never the starting quarterback. When he got to the Patriots, he was not the starting quarterback. And he had to work his way up. He played with a chip on his shoulder. But one of the things that I love about Tom Brady, I've never really heard him say that he thought of himself as him against the world. Then you have guys who play with a chip on their shoulder because they feel like they don't have anybody in their corner. They feel like it's up to them. It's only up to them. And you'll notice that their play is much more selfish. It's much more about them. They are not interested in getting the team involved. They're interested in their own stats. I want to go around the room a little bit, because if you've ever suffered in any part of your life, and all of us have been here, y'all, let's not fake like we ain't been there, where we felt like we were victimized, where we felt like, you know what, why is this happening to me? And if we were not careful, we would have adopted the mindset of, well, it's me against the world. Here's a phrase that many of you may have heard. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Y'all hear that phrase? Another one you may hear, in families growing up, it's us for and no more. Those are terminologies that are associated with this idea of you against the world. Let's walk around the room and let's talk about how did that work for you? Let's go there and then we'll keep going. Come on, Sheree.
Yeah, so this is I won't say a sensitive topic for me, but it's definitely relative. Relative. Yeah, y'all know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we know.
So
You just made up a couple of words on the fly, but good.
It's okay.
I love it.
It's okay. So growing up, I grew up in an environment where it was very much that, me, myself, and I mentality. I was a loner growing up, and I realized early in my adulthood that did not serve me well, because I did not have I didn't have support. And so everything was harder because I was trying to do it on my own. I didn't have any support in anything that I did. So when I went into the military, I adopted the mentality that, it's a team. You don't go anywhere. You don't go in the field by yourself. You always got to have somebody on your six. So you have somebody that's watching your back. You're always there to watch somebody else's back. You never leave a man behind. So that kind of shifted my mindset and realizing that I can get further with somebody else than I can by myself. And so I started applying that in every area in my life. And so I don't have goo gobs of friends. I don't have a large friend circle, but my friends that I have, I'm very close with. And, I got their back, they got my back. But I realized that in moving, especially in not even just in business, even relationships, you need to have other people in your life that are close enough that they can see what you can't see. And that's the thing about when you move by yourself and you're moving, you moving silent and you doing this thing by yourself, you have nobody else that can see your blind spots. And so, because you only have your viewpoint. And so basically you're going down the road. If you think about a horse that has those blinders on the side, that's you moving through life when you're by yourself. The advantage the horse has is that there's a rider on the back of him that can direct him because they can see where he's going. But we want to be the horse with the blinders and don't have no rider on us going through life by ourselves, but you can't see everything. So when you walk off a cliff because you didn't see it, now you want to blame everybody, to go back to what we talked about yesterday, because you don't want to take ownership. So it all ties together, but you get further in life, you get further in business, you get further in even in your relationships when you have other people in your life. And I'm not even talking about the person necessarily that you're in a relationship with. Sometimes you need people outside of the relationship that can see things that you can't see. So the advantage of moving with other people, and this is me being selfish in the sense is that I need people in my life that can see the blind spots for me. So, because I ain't trying to fall off no cliff.
Jennifer J. She over here preaching.
Yes. Yesterday, I wanted to bring a thought up, and I know that now it was meant for today. So one of the things that I was going to say is that a lot of times your environment holds you back from being your true self and being honest with yourself and admitting your faults. But that same environment, just like Sheree just said, and group of people can help you, encourage you, lift you up, make sure that you are headed in the right direction, and check you when you're wrong. So a lot of people ask me like, well, why did you move to Atlanta? I moved to Atlanta for one reason and one reason only, and that is because I saw a different environment than what I was in when I lived in Cleveland. And I needed the positivity. I needed that writer, as Sheree said, to be able to say, listen, I see where you're going and this is what's needed. This is what you're missing. This is what you need to do. But in all of this, you have to be a person that's going to allow all of this to come in. You can't be blocked. You can't be negative. You can't be playing the victim. You have to be ready for it when it comes. And when they say, hey, you need to stop doing that and do this. You need to be ready for those things. So a lot of it goes back to the inner work that we all need to make sure that we do. But also look at your environment. And if your environment is not one that's going to help you get to where you're going, then you need to get rid of some people or move. Like I moved into a whole entire different state that I know nothing about, but I love it here. I'm thriving, and my business took off when I got here. I yield my mic.
That part.
Amen.
That part. Listen, let me say this, and if you guys got anything you want to chime in on this, I'm all for it. Let me reset really quickly. Today, guys, we're continuing our series, unpacking the book You Owe You by Dr. Eric Thomas. Many of you guys may know him as E.T., the hip hop preacher. One of the things that I love about this book is that E.T. is unpacking the decisions that he made that led him to embracing a victim mindset. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday, that oftentimes when you are finding yourself in a jam, you're there because of you. And I know this is going to be sounding really hard. Listen to me, but you get out of it because of you. So we talked a little bit about yesterday. We said, where two people are involved, there's, my mother used to tell me this all the time when I was growing up. It's never all one person's fault. What we're trying to do is help you to unleash and discover and then unleash your power. See, you guys will never hear me talk about, oh, I'm jealous of this person. Or I wish I had that. That used to be me. But what changed was when I recognized I have the power not to be there anymore. And I think that unfortunately what people, and I get it, there's something about suffering that humans love to talk about. I think it's a martyrdom mindset. This idea of, oh, they doing this to me. And, oh, my goodness, I was down and the man had his foot on my neck. And, he won't let me be great. And when you talk like that, when you move like that, you are legitimately cementing your situation mentally. And I need y'all to stop it. I need you to get around people who don't talk like that. I need you to get around people, find a tribe who don't live or move like that. When we were in Panama, Cherie, one of the things I loved about Mike, and he's in the room today, our tour guide, everything was a possibility for him. He didn't have a mindset of giving up easily. I love that. Anybody who knows me knows my number one value is growth. I can't hang around you and you're not growing. Even if you are in my family, God bless you. I will help you. I will be there for you. But we not hanging out. We not spending time together. We not pulling up for dinner. I'm not coming to the fellowship, because what's going to happen is this thing is getting ready to go left because your mindset is going to take over. I know this ain't Mindset Monday. It's a Teach Me Tuesday, but you need to understand you are never in it alone. Anybody else who want to chime in on this? Come on, talk to me. Come on, Barbara.
This is such a great topic because I too don't like when people say, well, I could do this by myself, because none of us were created to do anything by ourselves. As we always say, we all need some help. And I think it always goes back to doing that inner work. When you feel like you're an island by yourself, then there's something internally that you need to work on, because if you're trying to bring forth an idea, you don't have everything to make that happen. You need somebody else's input. And when I worked in corporate, I would do with my team mind mapping. So we would start with the idea and everybody would input. So we would develop that idea into a full project or whatever we needed to do. But it was everybody's thought that made it better, because someone does have a better way of doing things than you normally have, and saying, oh, I got this and I can do it all by myself, but growing up, I don't recall my parents saying that, because my mom was and is a social butterfly. And so we always had people at our house, just a social person. Family was always there. So it was never, oh, you do everything by yourself. And so now as an adult, I still don't feel that way, because it only leads to burnout. And you wear yourself out trying to do everything by yourself.
Barbara, I love that. There's a part in Eric's book and Dr. Thomas's book. He says, it's you versus you. Nobody can tell you that you're alone but you. Seeing the people around you clearly is necessary to combat that victim mentality. When you tell yourself you're alone, it can be easy to slip into relationships that are false and that fulfill a surface desire for praise or company or pleasure. I want to turn the conversation a little bit. What does it look like? And I'm asking you guys in the audience, y'all can chime in on the chat. Please interact and engage with us. Asking the question, like, what does it look like for you to invite opposition, invite the confrontation, invite someone into your space who will tell you the flat out truth, who see you, and they're willing to speak truth in love. There's so many of us, y'all, when we're building businesses, I know that I've been here where I've had an idea and I purposely floated the idea after I was finished with it, because I don't want you to chime in and tell me what you think, because it's done. I don't want to go back and undo it. And so I'll say, hey, here's what I did. And then I'm not really asking for feedback. Or I may say, do you like this? You may say yes or no, but that's not real feedback. What I've learned to do is, while developing an idea, the moment I get an idea, there's a group of people that I'll say, what do you think about this? Hey, y'all, I was thinking about doing this. There's no real skin in the game yet, but it's just a thought. I'm thinking about moving to Panama. And here's why. 2019, we started talking like that. Here's what we're thinking. We want to create an opportunity where we can make the revenue that we generate go further. And we can be in a climate, quite frankly, that is warm all year long, because I do like to play golf. I just don't get out nearly enough. I want to be in a place that makes me want to come outside, where it's life, it's vibrant. I want to be in a place where people are warm, friendly, kind. Even though they may not have as much as I do in some cases, they have far more than I do. But what would it look like? And this is just an idea. And then somebody will say, well, had you ever thought about this place or that place? And I'm like, nah, I never thought about that. And so we go ahead and research Belize, or we research, all these different places. And then before you know it, you begin to find yourself crystallizing an idea. So my question is, as people are coming in the room, we've been talking about Dr. Eric Thomas's latest New York best-selling book, UOU, Unpacking It. I started reading it when I went to Panama, and I just want to begin to get y'all's thoughts on some things. What does it look like for you to invite somebody who will speak truth to you in love? Come on, talk to me. Who's that clipping it up?
Yeah, that's me. And I wanted to, Tessie Watts put a comment in the chat saying, we have all done things by ourselves, but did it reach its fullest impact? And I think that's the point. I think, yes, you can do things by yourself. You can operate solo, but things can go so much further. You can reach more impact when you do it with other people. You can go so much further. Your business can grow so much more. You're only limited to a certain amount by yourself, because it's just you. You only have two hands. You only have your mindset. But when you couple that with other people, you gain more hands, which means you can, if you're producing something physically, having more hands means you can produce more, because you yourself can only do so much. If it is just as far as ideas, my thinking is my thinking. But when I couple that with other people that can add to that, that idea can grow and expand beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And even if we just look at biblically, we were not designed to be independent. We were designed to be interdependent. That means to be able to rely on other people. As you know, and the Bible talks about, the body is like, if you look at it like a hand, there are different joints to every body. And so if you look at your hand, you have 5 fingers for a reason. If you remove your 5 fingers, your hand is not as functional as it is with your fingers as it is without your fingers.
Listen, that'll preach. Anybody else? Come on, talk to me, y'all. This is so good. What does it look like to invite that person in who will speak truth and love? We'll go Jen and Chris. I see you clipping it up. Come on, Jen.
Yes. So this brings me back to the Undercover Billionaire when I was watching that. And so we need a who, not a how. So it's who
Please
do
say
I
that
need?
again for all the people in the back that just snuck in the back door.
We need a who, not a how. Who do we need to help us should be our very, very first question. So if you're not familiar with Undercover Billionaire, I do encourage you to watch it because it is amazing to help you with the mindset of a business owner. They drop these billionaires into cities that they have never been in with $100, a cell phone, and a truck. That's it. And they have to build a business that has a $1 million valuation by 90 days. But the very, very first thing that all of them did was find a who to help them. And Grant Cardone says, listen, you need to build relationships in business. You need to make contacts. He said contacts equal contracts. And I'm going to leave it there.
Child, come on now with your bets. I don't have any offering for you. Listen, Chris, come on, brother. This is so good.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the experiences that I had was finding the right people. Because for me, what I understood early on in my career, right? Early on in my career is DJing and producing. I can't sing. I can't actually play an instrument, right? I can't rap. Those aren't my things. And so I was always tied to the success of somebody else. The problem that I kept getting was everybody that I got with I had to convince them to work with me, right? In the sense of they could sing, but they weren't really trying to be a singer. And what I realized was when I was trying harder to push them into a space, I was losing. And it was like, man, well, I guess I'll just DJ then because apparently, I can't find the right people. I can go DJ by myself and get paid. And honestly, a big piece of it was, coming into this community and realizing, for the example, right, it's not a singing thing, but it's for the podcast, right? Coach, you have a gift of speaking that you just go do it. And so me getting with you was like, hey, I can do that. Like you speak, I'll do the thing. Boom, this is going to be successful. And that's what I had always been looking for. I just kept finding the wrong team members, the wrong partners, because they didn't want it in the same way. Or maybe they just didn't know. I've always known I need people because I'm Diddy. Like I'm the remixer. I can take what you do and make it bigger. Start from scratch. I don't got much from scratch.
That's hilarious. Chris, when you say that, people ask me all the time, and I keep going back to this recent trip when we're in Panama and Mike down in the others in the room, he's got the party hat on. We were sitting at a restaurant and I'll just share this story with you. So while we were in the country, we took the co-parents with us, right? So we all went. Yes, my ex-wife and her husband. So to be very clear. And we have been building our blended family for 24 years. And so we are very good friends, very close. And what was funny was she was posting, and she's not a social media person at all, but she's posting, obviously, trips and resharing some stuff that I was doing, the whole thing. Her cousin saw her post and said, hey, cuz, I don't know if you know, but I got a guy that I'm really close with that lives in Panama. He owns several restaurants. You should connect with him. Y'all should pull up and because he's got, it's a great restaurant. So he connects her with his friend that owns the restaurants there in Panama. Also, and I'm giving you an example of how to connect these dots. I don't know if AJ is still in the room. Yeah, AJ is there. So I told AJ is in South America. He and I met on Clubhouse 2 years ago. He's followed a lot of the models of what we're doing. He's got a podcast doing all the things. We're going to have him up soon. But AJ was due to meet us there as well. And I had not told AJ what restaurant we were going to be at because I wasn't in the country, didn't know. So when I got in country, Deidre was talking to the cousin. We decided to connect with the cousin's friend, go to this restaurant. I said, AJ, meet me at this restaurant. We get there, then the owner of the restaurant is able to show up. He owns 5 restaurants. Well, while Mike is sitting there, Mike has told me while we were touring a facility earlier that day. He has a GMC vehicle. There are not a lot of GMC dealerships, or any, I don't believe, in Panama. When we sat down with the business, please follow me, guys. When we sat down with the restaurateur, he was telling us about a deal he was inking to be a part owner of Think Jiffy Lube that has service bays. I asked him a question. I said, yo, let me ask you this question, James. Do you guys work on GMC vehicles? He says, absolutely we do. We can help diagnose all the things. And he went through a whole litany of stuff. And I look at Mike down at the table. I said, Mike, meet James. James, meet Mike. He gets connected to James. Then they begin to vibe and realize, because they both have been in the country for about 11 years, they know a lot of the same people and same things. This is a connection. AJ is witnessing all of this, and we're connecting the dots for each other. Chris, to your point, and I need y'all to hear this. One of the things that you want to do when it comes to discovering the right person to work with is to show up as the authentic version of yourself. Because what you're going to do is you're going to attract authenticity. And this is where you sit back and you just listen. You listen for the clues that are being, see, success leaves clues, y'all. And when you are around successful people, if you'll be quiet, ask the right questions and just be quiet, they'll tell you what you need to know or what you were looking for. It'll come to you. But the problem is that when you rock in the mindset of you being alone, it's all about me. If it's going to be, it's up to me. You won't attract that person, the right person. And then the second thing you need to do is be willing to find the wrong person. So number one, you got to be authentic. Number two, you got to be willing to attract the wrong person for a season until you identify who you should be working with. And at that particular point, now the right person will emerge. And then the third thing, really quickly, and this is just off the top of my head, when you do that, when you show up as your authentic self, when you listen to people, when you ask the right questions, when you're willing to work with the wrong people, here's what happens. Then you begin to see, what part do I add to this puzzle that can help make the picture? Now, I don't have notes. I'm just talking.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing.
Can I
But
jump
Sheree,
in real quick?
Yeah, give me one quick second. But the truth is, guys, is that when that picture, think of a puzzle that comes together, at this particular point, it paints an absolute clear view of what part do you play? Come on, Sheree.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in on when you talked about being open to sometimes connecting with the wrong people. You have to be open, and you have to realize that from every experience, whether it's the wrong person or not, you're gaining something from that. But if you're not open to those experiences, if you're not open to let people in, you'll never know whether they're the right person or the wrong person. And sometimes this is life. Let's be honest. Sometimes you may connect with the wrong person. You may let the wrong person in. But if you are moving forward, you take the good from that situation and you move on. You don't look at that as a bad thing, and you can't allow fear to stop you. Well, I don't want to get mixed up with the wrong person, so I'm just going to stay here and do it by myself. No, because now you're stagnant because you're not willing to open yourself up. And when I say open yourself up, you're not just letting somebody in and you just open up your whole life to them, everything to them. You know, you pace this, you stage this, you let people in and see where they're trustworthy, where you can let them in, how much information you can share along the way. But when you detect that, hey, this is not a good fit, we're going in different directions, their thinking is off of mine, you move on from that, but you take the good from that. But if you are the type of person that's stuck, well, I don't want to, I've heard people have bad experiences partnering with other people, collaborating with other people, I'm just not going to do it because I've heard horror stories about that. You're shutting yourself off from possibilities because your person is out there somewhere. But if you don't go look for them, you'll never find them.
That part, going right back to what Jennifer J said, you need a who, not a how. Let that breathe, y'all. Are you looking for your who, or are you looking for your how? See, a lot of us are bogged down in getting things done because we're trying to figure out how to do it. I had a mentor years ago when we first started our company that told me, Glenn, here's your challenge. You are trying to figure out how to do something, A, that you weren't created to do, and B, that you're really not good at. All that's going to do is produce frustration, and it's going to cause you to procrastinate. Some of you guys are out here trying to write a book. You've never done it. And you've got all these thoughts and ideas. You have a real story to share. But because you will not connect yourself with a who, that book stays in your head. Cherie and I, between the two of us, have written 9 books. We've sold more than 50,000 copies over the years. And we stopped counting years ago because, quite frankly, we recognized it wasn't about the book sale. It was about the impact that we were making. But I promise you, if you read any of those books, you'll find out that it sounds just like I talk. You know why? Because I coupled myself with a who that could show me how to show up as my authentic self. And so therefore, I wasn't worried about necessarily how do I write a book? Who do I need to help me? And when that happened, guess what? The thing got produced. Here's what I know. You can't sell nothing that's still in your head.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Y'all hear me? So it's 7:56. We're getting ready for Teach Me Tuesday. It's a whole thing. Anybody else got anything they want to share on this before we switch gears? Come on, talk to me.
Yeah, I do.
Everybody, come on, Jen.
Before I get into the dead zone, I put it in the chat. You are going to hook up with the wrong people. There's no doubt, because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you want yet. There's no level of planning that's going to stop it. It has to happen. I have been in the room with millionaires and billionaires, and not just in the room, but sitting next to them, talking to them. And the one thing that's consistent is they said they learned nothing from their successes. They learned everything from their failures, and they learned from their failures so that they could be successful. So you're going to fail, and you just need to embrace it and say, what lesson did I learn from that? Okay, I am going to make the adjustment, and this is what I'm going to do different. I yield my mic.
Put that in the chat. Make the adjustment. Everybody put that in the chat. Make the adjustment. Well, most of us are not succeeding because we're not willing. And we talked about this last week when we were talking about the laws of the indisputable laws of leadership, of teamwork rather, because we're not willing to pay the price of making the adjustment. That's really what's going on. Talking about making the adjustment, my girl Mel B. Cook is in the building. Grand Rising, Mel, it's so good to see you on the stage today. You raised your hand. You got something you want to share on this subject, sis? Come on.
I do. Hey, family. So
Hey,
I was
Mel.
Hey, Mel.
Hey. So I was listening to Chris, and I had very similar experiences. So in my 20s, right? I used to always look. I thought I needed a mentor, so I would always look for people who were stronger in certain areas than I was in order to partner with. And through that experience, like many of you said, I got hooked up with the wrong people, and it kind of turned me off, and it gave me an inability to trust. But the common thread of me finding the wrong people was based on me not understanding who I was. So my father used to say to me, you have a presence when you walk in a room, so you have to be sure of your presence. People seen in me something that I didn't see in myself yet. So I would get into situations and often feel like I was doing too much or I was taken advantage of because I didn't see me the same way. And I wasn't clear on what I wanted to offer. And I wasn't clear on how I wanted to show up. So once I began to understand who I was and get clear on how I showed up, then it allowed me to attract the right relationships, right? And it also allowed me to stand in my own truth and show up with that authenticity that you talked about earlier. So like you all said, when you're in a situation where and most of us can't trust. I'm trying not to belabor the point, but most of us don't trust or have a really hard time with trusting because we were taught over time that people are unreliable. So once you learn to kind of abandon that mindset, right, and say, I need to be able to welcome new people in my space because I can't do it all. And then you get to know who you are authentically and fine tune that thing. The right people will automatically come in your life and you don't even have to look for them. You just have to do what you do and put yourself out there to be open.
Listen, Mel is up in these streets preaching. It's 8 o'clock, and all she's saying is you need to show up as who you really are. When you think about it, guys, you're the only you on the planet. All the other jobs are taken. Nobody has that job but you. There's a reason why your fingerprint looks different than anybody else's on the planet. There's a reason why, even if you're an identical twin, your DNA is not your twin's DNA. God worked very, very specifically and highly intentionally to make us individuals. And the question is, who are you? When you do that work, you'll figure that out. And man, is it fun to show up as your authentic self so that you can attract that level of authenticity. It's 8:01, 1 minute after 8 o'clock a.m. on the East Coast here in the U.S. Super excited to have everybody along for the ride for real lessons in life and business. It's a Teach Me Tuesday. Chris, a.k.a. DJ Mastermind Giles, is in the building, and he's going to be teaching us today on Teach Me Tuesday. If you are interested in podcasting on any level, you want to tune in for the next few minutes. Let me just say this out loud. Chris is the one that produces our We All Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast. His team, his company, his team, Black Tie Media, are the people behind it. I don't do anything. I don't lift a finger to produce that podcast. All I do is do what I'm doing right now. Because for me, Chris is a who. I don't know how to produce a podcast. I don't know the first thing about the platforms. I don't want to know. The time that it would take for me to learn that and really, really maximize that, it will take away from me doing the things that I'm really good at. So what I do is I just show up and I attract people who are willing to work with me and do the things that I don't do. Now, the reciprocal in that for him is that I do what he doesn't do. And so when I tell you guys that he's my guy and then you get to hear him teach, guess what's going to happen? Many of you guys are going to reach out to him in his back channels and you're going to say, hey, Chris, can we get on a call together? Because I'd like to do a podcast. I resonated with what you had to say. I feel like I can trust you because Coach trusts you. And so you begin to walk down that road. Y'all see how simple that is? Now, it's simple to think about. It's harder to do because you need to get out of your own way. You need to do the inner work of trusting people, like Mel just said. And so I'm telling you right now, once you do that inner work, it becomes really, really easy to do what? Let's get it. If you're in the room today and you're in the chat and this situation, this subject matter is resonating with you, putting me in the chat. I love it. I love it. Let's get ready to go. KBCN, if you are watching and viewing by way of KBCN, Chris is on TV right now, live. Y'all put the link in the chat and we're going to do all the things to make sure that you get a chance to see this. I'm super excited, you guys. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you guys or introduce to you guys and welcome my guy, Chris Giles from Black Tie Media for today's Teach Me Tuesday. Let's get it.
Oh, shucks. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. For anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Chris Giles, founder and lead creator over at Black Tie Media, also known as DJ Mastermind in some of these streets. But today, honestly, I found a real crazy way to connect what we're talking about today to podcasting. And so today, we're not going to talk about the technicals of podcasting. We're going to talk about why you should start a podcast. And if you've ever been in a room with me ever in the past year, you've heard me talk about the passion of why podcasting is important or why creating content in general is important, but why podcasting is the easiest way to do so. And so today we're going to talk about why you should, right? And so the number one reason is if you've been around this business community or any business community, you understand that you need content. And so people go, well, I don't know what to create or how to get started. And so this is what I'm telling you is that you start a podcast, because what is a podcast? It literally is an audio video format of a conversation. And so anytime that I push it, I'm going to push that you have a guest driven podcast like Coach does. If you come in on Wednesdays, you'll see that it's guest driven. It's him having a conversation with somebody else. And so guess what? He doesn't have to come up with the content. You've now started to create content that you're not having to create from scratch, right? You're asking questions of a person that's going to show their expertise. And so the number one way is to start a podcast. Now you're talking 30 to 60 minutes is usually what I recommend. And what you then do with that podcast, that 30 to 60 minutes that you have, is you repurpose it, right? You go on your social medias, you're taking that 30 to 60 minutes, you're finding clips in there that are super important that you can drop down to 60 seconds and post on all the platforms. If you follow me on the content, you'll see a lot of podcasts that I've either been on or that I personally do. You'll start to see more content on Coach's channel. You'll start to see a lot of stuff because we partner with KBC. And so a lot of stuff that they do, they'll start be showing you their social media content of the clips that they're doing of this show. Guess how many times you have to sit down and record the show? Once a week. And so once a week, you're sitting down for 30 to 60 minutes, having a conversation, recording it. But not only are you creating this 30 to 60 minute piece, but you're creating a bunch of 60-second pieces. You have the ability to create, YouTube videos out of that. And so starting the podcast is the front end of your content machine to get content out there. The way that I want to tie this in is because today we're talking about people and connections and working with other people. Is one of the ways that I've been able to use my podcast is to connect with other people. And so this is why it's important. There's two reasons. One is inviting somebody on a podcast that normally you would either A, have to pay for their time, or B, would never take your call anyway because they're too busy, right? But now you have a value add because you go, hey, I have this podcast. All I need you to do is come on for 30 minutes, 60 minutes. And the value that I'm giving you when you come on my podcast is that, one, I'm promoting you. So whatever you have going on, whether it's an offer or whether it's just your company or your brand or something that you're talking about, you're getting free publicity. I'm also going to share it in a bunch of social content. And so more people will get to hear about what you have going on. The other thing is a lot of people that have never been on a podcast. They're CEOs and they're making, hundreds of grands a month that are like, oh, I've never been on a podcast. What's that like? That seems pretty cool, right? It's a cool thing. Let me come be on your thing. And so now you're giving them value. So now what I've done is I'm able to make a connection with a person that I may not have been able to get in contact with in any other way, or I would have had to pay a large sum of money to get them in a room. Yesterday, I recorded a podcast with Latanya Moore. She's a lawyer who talks about trademark law and protecting your assets in your business. I just want you to know that if I had to schedule time to ask questions of her about the topics we talked about yesterday, it costs. What did it cost for me to have her on my podcast? It didn't cost me $1. It cost me time because there's a connection there. See, and so that's what I'm saying. It gets you in the rooms with people that you may not on the front end be able to get into contact with. And so why is this important? Number one, you're either doing business with them later, right? And so for me, I run a production company. So if I bring you on my podcast, one of the ideas we'll probably talk about down the line is, do you need help with your production? Are you going to start a podcast at some point? And I'm the guy that you come to for that, right? Think about if you're, no matter what business you're in, say you're an accountant, and the guests that you bring on are not other accountants, they're CEOs or CFOs, right? Specifically, right? Because they're the ones who would hire an accountant. Or they're small business owners, if that's the clientele that you work with, and you have them on, and now you've built rapport for 30 minutes to an hour for free because you invited them on, you're giving them value, and now you have a connection. The other piece of that is being connected to people that maybe I don't need now, but down the line, I'm able to call them up and ask a question or send a favor. In that podcast that I did yesterday, or even, another example of a different podcast we did was an event production podcast. And we had on the president of a large labor or booking company. Well, now guess what? I'm in her DMs. I can message her a quick question and say, hey, I was thinking about this. Is this something that we could work on together? Because we've built rapport about having her on my podcast and then the opportunity of being on her podcast, right? And so podcasting is not, one is the content, but two is the connections that you get to make. If you watch some of these larger, business personalities or even artists in the world, right? They're doing the tours to be on podcasts because they need to be in different audiences. And they're willing to do that. They're not getting paid to be on shows. You don't get paid to be on late night TV. Like if you're old school, right? You don't get paid to be on late night TV. You want to be on late night TV because it's an opportunity for you to get in front of people. Think of that about your podcast, and that's how you connect with people. Another reason is your messaging. We talked about the content on the front end, but what is the message that you're trying to get out into the world? Are you, for example, I always use Coach because we're in this room, you guys know, Coach's podcast proves to you that he is a relationship person because the people that he brings on, if you've been watching in the past couple of weeks and even say tomorrow's podcast, right? These are people that he worked with. I don't even want to get the year wrong, but 10 plus years ago, I'll start there. 10 plus years ago that he's worked with. So it proves to you that, well, they must have a good relationship for them to answer the call, for them to even say they want to be on the show, right? And so now you can see that Coach is the relationship guy. He's the guy that you go to, right? And so again, let's go to an accounting example, right? You're proving that the connections that you have in business are XYZ. On the event podcast I do, the people that I bring on, that means that I can go do big productions because I have the labor company there. I have the technicians there. I have the event planners there. And you go, oh, he must be connected because he has all these people on his podcast. And so that messaging that you're putting out there is that I am who I say I am. It also helps you with being the industry expert or industry partner, right? So one is you talking, and when I talk about podcasting, when I talk about content, you listen because my content is out there and other people are listening to it, other people are commenting on it, other people are willing to be a guest on my show because they go, oh, well, he knows what he's talking about, and they solidify or make me look like the expert that I say I am, right? Industry partner goes back to the thing we just talked about, where you're having other people that are down your line in your industry in some way that shows that you know other people in that space. And so, okay, I do production, but that person does labor. So because he's connected to both of those people, he must be the guy that I need to work with, right? And so it puts you in that place to be an industry expert and an industry partner. And so if you haven't already, or if you're overthinking it, because I've talked to a bunch of people that we talked about doing podcasts this year and they haven't started yet, right? And you're listening. And this week, in this month, we're talking about UOU. Think about how that equates to you starting a podcast, you starting on your content journey, because the first piece is the mindset. The second piece is jumping in and doing it. And so that's the main thing. That's what I want to talk about today, why you need to start a podcast. And I'm going to hand it back over to Coach.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, Chris, one of the things I love about what you just said, it really is about you just showing up and recognizing that you just need to do it. You just need to do it. You get what I'm saying? Listen, for all of you guys who struggle with producing content, put me in the chat. And I don't want to minimize what Chris says. And I know a lot of you guys, you think through, well, Coach, it's easy for you to say, just show up because you're an extrovert. Well, can I tell you that most of the most powerful CEOs on the planet are not extrovert? Go do your research. When you look at some of the largest, most influential brands on the planet, many of their CEOs are not extroverts at all. But what they have perfected is putting around them the people that need to be in the room in order for them to do what it is that they do. And so regardless as to how you show up, whether it's podcasting or whatever mechanism, you got to find something that works. And the reason why I love podcasting for introverts is because you don't even have to do it visually. You can do it purely audio. Because it's funny to me, we do the live version of what we do in an audio way. In a visual way, but we repurpose it on all the different audio platforms. It's straight audio, so you can't see us. So if that's your thing, start it and don't be on video. Just start it. Chris, that was fire. Anybody want to chime in? Takeaways, something that Chris said that resonated with you. Come on, Sheree.
Yeah, Chris, thank you for sharing that information. It was much needed. I know for me, I'm an introvert, and it was us doing our show. We did Breakfast with the Brooks for 3 years, from Periscope to YouTube to whatever. But me being able to sit in front of a camera to be able to get past my fears of speaking in public, and so it was repetition. And so if you look at doing a podcast, it's you having a conversation. It's you being able to sit still, and especially if you're doing it audibly only, you don't have to worry about that fear of people looking at you, that fear of, if that's your thing. And for a lot of introverts, that's the thing. It's like, I can't talk in front of people, but you have something to say. And that's the thing for me. I realized I had a voice, I had something to say, but I was allowing that fear to keep me from not saying it. But when we did that show for 3 years live, like I said, it was just me and Glenn sitting in front of the computer. I could see people, but I didn't really see them because I think even when we first started seeing, we weren't seeing anybody. Because we were doing it on Periscope, you couldn't see them. You could see like their little thumbnails, but you didn't see actual people. And so it helped me to get over that fear. And so like now, you know, me and Coach Stacy do a show on KBCN, the Coach's Corner. And that's still not live, but here every day, I'm here Monday through Friday, and we're doing this, we're recording it live, but we don't see you guys. I mean, I don't see you. And so I'm just want to speak to the introverts. Don't allow that fear of being in front of people. And for introverts, that's usually the biggest fear, is being in front of people. Don't let that stop you from getting your messaging out. You have something to say, get out and say it. It's just you recording what you're saying. You know, if for me, I don't work well with a script per se when I say like line by line, because I'll get caught up in that, because then my turtle kicks in and I'm gonna make sure I read every line, every slide. And so I do better kind of free flowing. I'll have a guide where I'm going, what I'm going to talk about. And so you'll learn what works best for you. But this is all about you getting your message out. And I believe that, you know, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, there's something that you're good at, or you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. So it's you sharing what it is that you're good at, sharing that information with other people. And so Chris is the bomb. I've seen his work. I've watched him work in person. And, you know, if you're interested in getting a podcast, just have a conversation with him and, you know, get on his calendar to see how he can help you, how he can point you in the right direction. What I do know, Chris has integrity. And if he doesn't feel like he's the person for you, he's going to point you in a direction to somebody else that can work with you.
100%. Real quick, Cherie, it's funny that you say that because, you know, I've watched you evolve over the years, and, you know, Cherie's temperament is that, you know, if you have ever taken a DISC personality assessment, she is all S and C, and her D and I are low, relatively speaking. And the S is what we call the chameleon. The C is what we call the turtle. And that chameleon is a detailed individual that's introverted. They're a people person. They love people, but they're introverts. The same way with the turtle. The turtle's more analytical. But again, and they're bottom line oriented, by the way. They'll sound, a lot of times they come across like a lion. They're just introverted. So I want you guys to understand that for Cherie, being on a podcast and being, you know, forcing herself to show up, that flamingo, or the I, and her D has risen over the years. And if you're not careful, you'll catch her flamingo out of tune. And that joker will just get to going. And I'm like, Cherie, your comedic timing is off, babe.
Yeah, so when y'all hear me rambling, that's my flamingo.
The flamingo trying to get out.
Fluttering around, trying to. It's just
fluttering around. It's a whole thing. But I enjoy the process of watching her evolve, because these kinds of platforms help you to do that. Jennifer, you got anything to say about what Chris has shared? Come on, talk to us.
I do. Flamingo fluttering. That's funny. Yes, Chris, thank you so much for showing up. Chris said something that I never ever even thought about podcasting. He said that he got on with the attorney and asked that attorney questions that would normally cost him. And one thing I do know about podcasting is, and I tell my customers, and I preach this as a lead generation tactic, to get in front of people you normally would not have gotten in front of. When you get on people's podcasts, you're getting in front of their audience. And so him being able to, number one, interview her and ask the questions that not only he wants to know, but everyone else wants to know, gives her the ability, number one, to be known to his audience and possibly get business. And number two, gets him to ask the questions where he doesn't have to pay the cost for that consultation. So it's twofold. And yes, just like Cherie said, those of you who don't want to go live and you don't want to do all the things, you have to generate leads. And in order to generate leads, you have to do the things. Whatever those things are, you have to do it, and you have to get in front of people some kind of way. A podcast is a perfect way to do it, because you don't have to be on camera. You can do it via audio. You don't have to start one. Go be on some. Are you on my mic?
Ooh, that part. Guys, listen, if y'all want to tap in with Chris, click the link at the top of the room here on Clubhouse, and it'll take you right to, I believe, a place where you can sign up and get connected with him. Can y'all do me a favor and drop that same link in the chat for those people who may be on a different platform, and click that to make it as easy as possible for people to connect. Anybody else on stage, you got something you want to share? Maybe Chris said something that kind of was an aha moment for you. I'm open. Put it in the chat. We've got the raise hands features closed at the moment, I think. But I really want to hear from. Come on, Mel. What you talking? Talk to me.
I'm like you. I don't want to do the work of the technical stuff. So the
That
one
part.
thing that has kept me from it is like, I can get on a mic, we can talk, and I can have conversations and reach out to people, but I don't want to do any of the back end stuff.
Come
So
on.
that was like right on time for me. Like, oh, I can get somebody to do all this.
Mel, let me tell you something.
Okay.
Mel, let me tell you something. When we came in, I don't know, Chris, we 63 episodes in now in terms of what people can actually download and live. If y'all have never heard our podcast, We All Need Some Help Wednesday, the podcast, I want to encourage you to go to my link in my bio on Instagram, click it, and it'll give you an idea of what it sounds like. All the episodes are there, but you also can go to any place that you get your podcast already, whatever that platform is, just in the search menu, type in hashtag We All Need Some Help, and or just We All Need Some Help. I promise you, it'll pull up. We're on just about all of the platforms. Here's the thing I want to encourage you. When Mel said that, Chris was the one that pushed me off this ledge. Can I tell y'all a secret? When I got into business 7 years ago, I reached out to the guy I'm going to interview tomorrow. Listen to me very carefully. He's a former program director that I hired when I was in radio, and he took our radio station to #1 in the market. Okay. And he's incredibly talented, particularly when it comes to production work. Today, he runs a film company. He has his own film. He produces films, documentaries, and all the things with a lot of, artists, famous people, the whole thing. But when Matt and I got together, when I got into business 7 years ago, I said to Matt, hey, man, listen, I think I want to do a podcast. Can you record an intro for me? And I said, I think. Because what I didn't realize, and then back in those days, you had to have a whole bunch of equipment and some different things to make that really work. After I got him to record the intro, and then I found out the work that was involved, we never used that intro. It never became that name. And so it was years later when I run into Chris Giles that he says to me, I think we were live on Clubhouse when you said it, Chris. Hey, coach, what would be a good idea? I'm like, nah, what? You should do a podcast. I'm like, Chris, I ain't doing no podcast. I don't like to touch stuff technically. Like, as long as it works, I'm straight. Like, I got all the bells and whistles over here, y'all, but the minute something go wrong, your boy is in trouble because I don't know how to fix none of it. You get what I'm saying? I got the high-end vehicle over here. And as long as that don't work right, I'm straight. But the reason I didn't want to do it is because I get anxiety when it comes to fooling with all that time, because I'm not detail-oriented on that level. And then this is what he said that messed me up. He said, I didn't ask you, could you do it? I just asked you. I just told you should because I'll produce it if you do. I was like, ruh-roh. Wait a minute, hold up. Because I know what that word means. I said, wait a minute. So what you're saying is all I have to do is show up and do what I do and just talk? He said, that's all you got to do. And here's what I'm going to suggest, Coach. You already do it on Clubhouse. What would it look like? And this is my word, y'all. What would it look like? And my whole team says it. I forget that I started that mess. What would it look like if you just shared on We All Need Some Help Wednesday, and I recorded it and repurposed it to all the platforms? I'll do all the research. I'll do all the things, search all the analytics, show you how to monetize it. Monetize it for you. We'll set up it on platform. Y'all, I was like, boy, and so why are you doing it? He said, because you have allowed me to come work with this team in a way I feel like at this particular point, it's the least I can do. And we started a relationship. That was 62, 63 episodes ago. And then we recorded 12, 13 episodes, put it in the can. And at that particular point, it became a whole thing. And then now, when we release them, we actually are probably 6-8 weeks behind when we release them because we got so much content. I see you, Rocky.
Hey, yeah.
So
Rocky's
yeah.
in the building.
Yeah, I don't know. Rocky probably is in between classes. Come on through, Rock. She's saying, Coach, you flamingoing out on me.
Yeah, no, it hasn't started yet. Hi guys, sorry I've been missing school.
It's okay.
Missed you.
I just wanted to say, y'all really have no excuse. I'm gonna tell you why. Chat GPT, all you have to type in is give me, hey Chris, all you have to type in is give me a podcast script talking about Instagram marketing strategies for business owners. It gives you the whole script. And as long as you can read it as if it's in your voice, then your podcast is done. It says script 1, script 2, script 3, how to end the podcast into the next podcast. It gives you everything to say. So if you're someone that's stuck with tech, that's fine. But if you're someone that's like, I don't know what to talk about in my podcast, chat.openai.com. Type in what you want to talk about in your podcast. It will give you the script to just straight run through that thing. And then you can add in your own stuff if you want to as well. So just thought that would help somebody.
Listen, Rocky coming through in between class and all the things. Rock, we love you. We miss you. Someday you will be free and and you'll be able to join it. But no, Rocky is hitting it all. So you got Chris for the technical and what Rocky just said about Chat GPT. Now I don't use it. I haven't used it yet. But for those of y'all that struggle with something to say, Cherie uses it. That's a thing. Cherie, how has your experience been using it, babe?
So I haven't used it necessarily for podcasts or anything, but I use it for like when I'm updating our website, when I'm doing any marketing material, I'll use that for my messaging. I'll use it. I'll put in what it is that I need the text for how to talk about a particular thing. It'll give me language. I switch it up, make sure it's in our voice, and it saves me time because I don't have to sit there and try to figure out how do I want to say this. It gives me a blueprint to go from. Now I go in and I make it personal, but it gives you a blueprint so you're not starting from scratch. It's an excellent time saver.
I love it. I love it.
Tech Thursday.
Tech Thursday. Look,
Tech Thursday on Tuesday. Brought to you by Rocky.
No, we're going to talk about it.
No, we're going to talk about it. That's what I got. Come on, Flamingo. You better come on through.
Help me.
Because we all need some help. What? So Rocky is going to be back on Tech Thursday. If y'all did not catch that, pull up Tech Thursday this week, right around 8 a.m., and she's going to go ham on how to figure this out. Listen, y'all, when we say there are no excuses, a who, not a how, is not always a person. Let me just leave it right there for a second. Let that breathe, as my coach would say. A who, not a how, is not always a person. Sometimes it's a tool. It's just a resource. And it helps you to be able to show up without having to do all the work. If you're in the audience and you got something you want to say, I saw that it looks like Lynette said, say that again, repeat that. Lynette, give me some specifics on what you want us to repeat, because we want to make sure that we definitely run that back. If you guys want to catch the replay of Teach Me Tuesday, we can go ahead and put this up at the top of the room. Click the link at the top of the room here in a second when they repost it, and scroll down to Teach Me Tuesday. Click it, and what it'll do is free, but it'll allow you to sign up for not only the replay of today's Teach Me Tuesday, but the replays of all the Teach Me Tuesdays that we've done. And so click the link at the top of the room, and it'll help you to catch the replay. For the 49 of you guys that are here, the 94 of you guys who have passed through, thank you so much for pulling up. Thank you so much. Chris, you did a great job. Now, Chris had to dip out real quick in order to take his baby girl. Well, I think it's his oldest baby girl. Chris got 1 million kids, y'all. But anyway, I'm just playing. No,
he's on parent duty.
Yeah, he's on parent duty right now. He's on his way to take his daughter to school. But y'all, let me tell you something, Chris. You did a heck of a job, brother. Heck of a job. Heck of a job. Grand Rising, everybody. It's good to have everybody along for the ride. It's a Teach Me Tuesday. Super excited that you guys are in a room. Let me go through real quick and do a roll call. I've seen some new people pull up in the room. Good to have my mother in the pole position. Mama Pat is in the building. Y'all give her a hand, show her some love. Dr. James, the mad scientist, is in the building. He's the other half of KBC and TV. Uncle Ernie is in the building. Tammy, good to see you in the room. Shout out to my MMC family. Valencia is in the building. AJ is in the building. Latondra's in the building. I see you, Johan. Shout out to AARP, who, by the way, are our title sponsors for Bootstrapping Redefined, coming up this October 2023. We are going to be live in the ATL. If you're looking at us on TV, you can see that we just threw the image up, Bootstrapping Redefined. Click the link at the top of the room. Tickets are going to be going on sale here really soon to the general public, so you definitely want to be in position to copy your tickets because space is limited. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be amazing. AJ, Latondra, Jill, Amy, Tessie, Lakita is in the building. Shout out to Excursions. Hey, I love it. Let's go. Robert is in the building. Dr. Pam is in the building. Great to see you, Mr. Hurling. Good to see you in the place to be. Dr. Nicole is in the building. Always a pleasure when she pulls up. Stephanie, I see you. Keitra, representing the D, Detroit, where it's super cold. God bless you, child. Listen, we are praying for you. It should not, listen, nobody should have to undergo that level of, oh my gosh, it's just, anyway, I'm getting cold talking about it. Yolanda, Grand Rising, great morning. Good to have you in the building. Adriana's in the building. Hey, Adriana, Our Mindful Marketing is in the building. Good to see you. She's going to be pulling up soon for a lunch and learn for the MMC community, guys. Her and Hannah are running an amazing business over there. Y'all don't want to miss it if you're in the MMC. Good to see you, Shay. Good to see you in the building, Grand Rising. Good to see you. Nona is in the building, Grand Rising. My guy, Aaron, homeboy, Baltimore representing. What it do? Good to see you, sir. The ATL is representing my guy, Corwin. Sea-Dog Oglesby is in the room. Cindy Lou, we're praying for your speedy recovery. Pray that you get yourself all the way together with a V. Yeah, together. Zipporah's in the building. Grand Rising Zipporah. Les Squire Jr. is in the place to be. Listen, I love it. Les, if you can jump up on stage at some point, man, it would be great to have and listen to your voice. It's been a minute. But we understand when you are doing that parent life, y'all. I get it. I get it. It's been a lifetime ago, but I get it. Takia, good to see you. William is in the building. Alexis is in the building. Dave is in the building. Marcus, good to see you. Lynette is here. Latanya pulled up. That's the lawyer, guys, that we were talking about. Listen, that Esquire over there, y'all, she's a beast. She is if you are looking for a good business attorney, particularly if you launch products and services, or products rather, that you're trying to get in retail stores, tap in with her. She is amazing at what she does. It's so good to have everybody in the room. Dominique, good to see you, my friend. Grand Rising. I'm going to start calling them Derry because I can't pronounce your name, sir. Daryoush. Thank you so much for pulling up. Karen, good to see you. Stephanie is in the building. Shauna is in the building. Ty is in the building. Carolyn and Ken. Super excited to have everybody along the ride. Why do I take time and read all those names? I know it sounds boring to some, but we want you to know that we see you. We want you to know that we see you, that you are an important part of our show, and we don't take for granted that you decided to pull up and hang out with us. Let's get it. We're continuing to talk a little bit about, and we're going to finish the show off talking about Unpacking the Book by Dr. Eric Thomas. The title of the book, it's a New York bestseller. It's called You Owe You. And the premise of the book really is inspiring you to discover your power and to show up and be able to activate it. We started off yesterday by talking about the idea of self-actualization, taking ownership, living up to your potential. There's so many of us that have never discovered our potential, and so thus we don't live up to it. Today, we're talking about real lessons in life and business around not being in it alone. And obviously, Chris just finished up with an amazing Teach Me Tuesday. Anybody else want to chime in on that idea of not being in it by yourself? You are never in it by yourself. Talk to me. How does that resonate with you during your experience building your business? Clip it up and we'll jump over and talk to you if you got anything else left to share on this. Les, it's good to have you in the room, bro. How things going, sir? You good? Uh-oh. Maybe not. Maybe not. You already know it could have gone left real quick. Sheree, come on.
He got 500 children, so you know he made
Yeah,
it.
Hey, I'm good. I'm actually getting them out of the door right now. So
y'all here? We ain't joking. Y'all thought we was playing. He got 2 buses that's pulled up in front of his house just for his kids.
Hey, and we got 3 different waves of buses. We got the first ones out. We got the second crew. And then
Hey,
the
listen.
third crew coming out. But when
I
Mama
love it.
Sheree invites you to the stage, you got to get up there.
You got to get up there.
Gotta get up
Kids
there.
screaming and all. I love it, man. I love it.
I love
it.
y'all so much. I miss y'all, man. I can't wait to be back on the regular.
No, it's all good, bro. Go do your thing. No, I'm excited, y'all. We're doing some amazing things, and I just really want to encourage you guys to tap in. We're going to be talking about this subject all week long, and for those of you guys that didn't pull up earlier, I just want to say shout out to our sponsor again, this week's sponsor, Social with Rocky. Rocky is going to be back. She does our Tech Thursdays, but she runs a full service marketing agency that helps you free up your time and in business by managing your social media accounts so that you can worry about more areas in your business. Relax while Rocky and her team helps you to grow your brand, engage your community, and help you to increase leads and sales. She is known for, y'all, and when I tell y'all, the girl's got receipts for growing followers by hundreds of followers a week and exploding views in Instagram views. If you guys want to tap in with her, find out more about how she may be able to help you, do me a huge favor and click the link at the top of the room, and Rocky will be able to help you. Well, y'all, let me say this. I know a lot of our folks are moving and shaking. Y'all pray for Christine Psalms. She is having challenges with her wisdom teeth. I know John Schultz is on a flight out west. Let's pray for him. But we're going to go ahead and end it today. I'm going to go ahead and bring it on in. If this room has blessed you all over more than anywhere else, put me in the chat. Put me in the chat. Listen, I got you, Lynette. I appreciate that you got the information. Listen, put me in the chat. If this room has resonated with you on any level, put me in the chat. I want to do something a little bit different. It's a Teach Me Tuesday. But I want to talk about one thing that you may be thankful for. One thing that you may be thankful for. Let's go around the room. If you can chime in, we'll go Chris, then Cherie, then Barbara, then Mel. And then Les, if you're in a place where you can talk, we'll finish out with you. One thing that you're thankful for as we begin a new month. February is on top of us. Come on, Chris. Give me one thing, bro.
Chris on baby duty too. I'll go.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah. Go ahead, Sheree.
I'll go. One thing that I'm thankful for is for my tribe. I'm thankful for having a community of individuals who are able to pour into me as well as me pouring into them, and who are able to check me, and for me being willing to allow them to check me as needed.
I love it. I love it. That willing part is so important. Barbara, you got something for me? One thing that you're thankful for?
Cherie just took what I was going to say.
Listen.
I so appreciate my tribe that doesn't have a problem checking me when needed and helping me to continue to grow. I
love it. I absolutely love it. No, she didn't take what you said. She said what she said, and then you just said what you said. It just sounded like what she said. Help me. I love it. Come on, Mel B. You're in a place where you can chime in. One thing you're thankful for, sis. I'm grateful, Mel, that you decided to pull up because, you know, Mel can take a break from people in a heartbeat. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I can. Thankful for... I want to say village too, so I'm just gonna stick with it. It's the village, right? Thankful to have a village that I can always call on at any point.
Mel, you already know. Let me say this. What I love about Mel B is that when you have her in your corner, she won't leave and you can't fire her. She is a person. We grew up through the same business community a number of years ago, and we developed a personal relationship in real life. And she's always been there for us. And I just want to say publicly, I love you. I love your husband. I love your family. I love all of the things that you're doing. And you always know that you got a home here anytime you get good and ready to come on through. Les Squire, are you in a place where you can talk, sir? One thing you're thankful for?
I'm never in a place where I can talk, but I'm going to do it.
I love it. I love it.
No, I'm grateful for the grace of this community, for the love of this community. Man, this has been an amazing ride, and I'm just excited to, get back on track, man. Just get back on track with the community. Appreciate you.
I love it, man. No, man, always a pleasure, y'all. At the end of the day, here's what I know to be true. You cannot get to any place of significance by yourself. And I need everybody to get ready to chime in on why that is. In 3, 2, 1, it's because we all need some help.
We need practice. Choir
rehearsal is what we really need. I love it. Y'all be good. The music, when it fades, the room will close. KBCN, thank you so much for being our media partners. If you're viewing us on LinkedIn, if you're viewing us on YouTube, maybe you're seeing us on KBCN's platform, which is obviously running on the back of Roku. Some of you all are just flat out watching us while you're in bed and watching your TV. We want to say thank you. Always a pleasure. We'll be back tomorrow.